In tonight's headlines, the cash-strapped West Kowloon Cultural District Authority outlines a plan to construct 7 residential buildings on a 20,000 square meter site. Vice Premier Zhang Guoqing flies to Tibet to oversee rescue efforts as death toll in a 6.8 magnitude earthquake climbs to 126. And fast-spreading wildfires in the U.S. state of California have forced nearly 49,000 people to leave their homes.
The cash-strapped West Kowloon Cultural District Authority could resolve its financial issues after it submits a proposal to the Town Planning Board later this year for permission to construct 7 residential buildings. Roughly 20,000 square meters of land will be used for the project, which could provide up to 1,995 housing units. The total gross floor area of 134,500 square meters will also provide space for 3 multi-purpose basement levels and 3 stories above ground for retail, catering, and entertainment. Last year, the Executive Council conditionally agreed to allow the authority to sell some of its land parcels to ease a financial shortfall. The Arts Hub's operating deficit for the 2023-24 fiscal year was $578 million, 20% less than the previous year.
Professor Dennis Lo assumed office today as the new Vice-Chancellor and President of the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Speaking to the press, the 61-year-old molecular biologist highlighted his 27 years of service at the educational institution, which he considers home. He said it is an honor to be the university's 9th Vice-Chancellor, vowing to enhance the institution's global status in academics, research and innovation. Responding to questions about succeeding Rocky Tuan, who had a strained relationship with the governing council, Lo emphasized that regular communication is key between the management team and various stakeholders. He said he has already started meeting students and highlighted more conversations to come in the following week with faculty members and alumni. Lo added that the university would assist students in re-establishing the previously disbanded student union in accordance with the law. Lo previously held positions as the director of the Li Ka-shing Institute of Health Sciences at CUHK and the associate research dean of the university's medical faculty. The governing council unanimously voted in favor of appointing Lo as vice-chancellor for a 5-year tenure in September of last year. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Lawmakers seem to be at odds over the issue of SAR residents who do not live in Hong Kong, but do make occasional trips to the city to take advantage of the subsidized medical treatment. Edward Leung of the Hong Kong Island East constituency said, while there are calls to scrap the subsidized $2 transport fare scheme, the government was too generous to outsiders who returned for medical treatment, adding to the government's fiscal deficit. Leung asked whether the policy could be made more stringent for such returnees. Secretary for Health Lo Chung Mao acknowledged the complexity of the issue, saying it is hard to define someone with an identity card as an outsider, dismissing any restrictions for now. The government aims to take care of those who once lived in Hong Kong, Lo added. Meanwhile, when asked about raising medical charges for such returnees, Lo said checking how long the patient has resided in Hong Kong during each visit would be impractical for both healthcare staff and residents.
The death toll from the devastating 6.8 magnitude earthquake, which jolted southern Tibet yesterday, has climbed to 126. At least another 188 people were injured. 28 of the injured are in critical condition. The death toll is likely to rise as many people are feared trapped under the rubble of collapsed houses. With temperatures plummeting to minus 15 degrees Celsius at night, rescuers are racing against time to pull out survivors. Over 660 aftershocks had been recorded as of this morning, with the biggest hitting a magnitude of 4.4. President Xi Jinping has called for all-out efforts to minimize casualties and assist affected residents. Meanwhile, Vice Premier Zhang Guoqing arrived at Dianri County this morning to oversee rescue operations. A total of 407 people have been put out so far, and over 30,000 have been relocated to relief shelters. Communication lines have been re-established in Dianri County near the quake's epicenter. Essential supplies, including tents, winter coats, quilts, and folding beds, which are critical for high-altitude survival, continue to pour into the quake-hit areas. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
To enhance and develop tourism and the livelihoods of the elderly population, which drives the silver economy, the government will facilitate collaboration between communities and the legislature. The proposal was put forward by Deputy Chief Secretary for Administration Warner Chirk at the year's first anti-chamber exchange session, which focused on advancement of the city's tourism industry, promotion of art and creative industries, sports development, and measures to stimulate the silver economy. Also in attendance were Secretary for Commerce Algernon Yao and Rosanna Law. The tourism chief mentioned that officials are exploring strategies to enhance the operation of the Kai-Tak cruise terminal to optimize the use of the multi-purpose Kai-Tak sports park. The Commerce Secretary was optimistic that a comprehensive plan is expected to be finalized in the first quarter of this year after 2 panel meetings were held on strengthening the silver economy. After the meeting, Chirk added that the arrangement for future exchange sessions will be refined by structuring discussions into groups based on 2 panels, each co-chaired by the respective secretary and the panel chairperson. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
At least 49,000 people have been ordered to evacuate, and thousands more were advised to prepare to leave the western U.S. city of Los Angeles after a massive wildfire encircled entire neighborhoods. Spreading rapidly, the flames expanded from 10 acres to several thousand in size within just a few hours. Screaming residents abandoned their cars to flee the fast-moving blaze. Houses were burned down to the ground. No deaths have been reported so far, but California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a statewide emergency, calling the fire unprecedented. The inferno originated from what appeared to be a typical brush fire, but was intensified by a windstorm, transforming it into an uncontrollable blaze, racing through the affluent residential neighborhood of Pacific Palisades area. Nearby Santa Monica and Malibu have also been affected. Extreme winds across Southern California are fueling multiple ongoing blazes and complicating firefighting efforts. More than 1,400 firefighters have been deployed to fight the blaze across multiple locations. U.S. President Joe Biden, who was scheduled to attend an event in Southern California, has canceled his plans and traveled to the city for a briefing on the fire situation. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
In what was supposed to be an announcement about foreign investment in the United States, President-elect Donald Trump turned the event at his residence in Mar-a-Lago, Florida, into an impromptu press conference.
Very exciting for our country. The Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. It was a gift.
Highlighting U.S. territorial ambitions, Trump reiterated his stance on taking over resource-rich Greenland from Denmark.
People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen.
Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., is visiting Greenland and said he was in the Arctic territory as a tourist and not to meet any politicians. Shifting focus to the Middle East, Trump warned Palestinian group Hamas to release some 100 Israelis held hostage in the Gaza Strip before he takes office on January 20th.
If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore.
However, Trump failed to provide clear directives with regards to how the U.S. will achieve its territorial expansion. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
But there was.
South Korean police are ramping up efforts for a more robust attempt to arrest President Yoon Suk-yeol after an arresting party had to turn back empty-handed last week due to a standoff with the impeached leader's security team. The force is considering a breach of Yoon's heavily secured house, which is located in an upmarket area of the capital Seoul. Oh Dong-woon, head of the Corruption Investigation Office, said law enforcement is committed to executing the second arrest warrant issued by the court yesterday. However, Oh told lawmakers that there are unconfirmed reports leading to Yoon's whereabouts. Rumors suggest that he may have vacated his residence and is hiding elsewhere. The presidential office and Yoon's lawyers have dismissed these claims. The legal team asserted that Yoon is ready to stand trial if indicted, but contested the validity of the arrest warrant, claiming it was issued by a court lacking jurisdiction, and that the investigation unit had no authority to probe an incumbent leader. Yoon has been lying low since he was impeached by the South Korean parliament last month for declaring martial law. The move backfired, and Yoon was charged with rebellion. A verdict by the country's constitutional court will decide Yoon's destiny. Kwon Jin-yak, Cable News.
Bring Aurora Medical Technology, a medical diagnostics firm, had the distinction of becoming the first initial public offering of 2025 in Hong Kong. Listed at $3.22, Bring Aurora stock jumped as much as 8.4% in early trading, before closing the day at $3.33. Tang Jing, chairman of the Zhejiang-based firm, said, with the Hong Kong launch, the company has moved into the fast lane of the international capital market. But the timing could have been better, as the Hang Seng ended the day at a 6-week low, losing 0.9%. Tencent continued its decline, sliding a further 2.7% today after the Shenzhen-based firm was blacklisted as a Chinese military entity by the U.S. Department of Defense on Monday. Tencent has lost over $35 billion in market value over the last 2 days. However, mainland's most valuable company has taken the crisis as an opportunity, completing its biggest share buyback with $1.5 billion, purchasing 3.93 million Hong Kong-listed shares. This was Tencent's biggest repurchase in nearly 2 decades. The company wasn't the only buyer to contain the fallout from the blacklist. Investors in China also snapped up $14 billion worth of Tencent stock yesterday.